Here is question number 7 from your school assignment on word problems related to application of rational functions. So my idea is to only explain you how to solve the question. You will need to do all the calculations and get the answer, right? Let's try to understand how to read a word problem, understand, and then write equation. That's the part which I am going to discuss with you now. Question 7 is, a stained glass window for entrance of a new high school is to be designed in the shape of a rectangle topped by an equilateral triangle, right? So let's make a sketch for this. So that's the rectangle topped with an equilateral triangle. So let's make a triangle here. The perimeter of the window is not to exceed 28 meters. That means sum of all these outer sides. The price for the stained glass is $12.80 per meter square. Determine the total cost of glass required to maximize the area of window. So we need to maximize the area. That's kind of a thing, right? And find the cost where the rate is given to us. Now how should you solve this question? So let us now say that the width of the window is, let us say, x, and y is the height of the window. In that case, since this is an equilateral triangle, these sides will also be x each, correct? Now, perimeter is given to us as 28 maximum. So we can write perimeter, which is sum of all these sides, as 28, right? So 28 is equals to, sum of these sides is how much? So we got 2y plus, so we'll not consider this part. When we are considering perimeter, it's only outer things, right? So 1x, 2x, 3x, and these two y's. So we'll not consider this x. So it is 3x plus 2y. The perimeter of the window is not to exceed 28 kilometers. Perimeter is outer sides, sum of outer sides, right? So that gives us a relation, and this relation actually helps us to write one variable in terms of the other. So we can write what y is, right? So here you can simplify. We can say 28 minus 3x equals to 2y, or we can say y equals to 28 minus 3x over 2. So we get one relation, that is for y in terms of x. So since we will have equation in two variables, we need to relate two of them. The second part is to find area. Now what is the area of this combination of triangle, which is equilateral triangle and a rectangle? Well, rectangle area is simple, that is x into y. How about the triangle? Now let's look into that also. So if we have an equilateral triangle, let's consider here an equilateral triangle. So I'm making this triangle slightly bigger, or let's work with the same triangle, okay? So what we have here is, let me draw up a perpendicular from the top. In that case, in equilateral triangle, it is going to divide it into two equal parts. So what we have is, x is the hypotenuse and x by 2 as half of the side. We need to find the height. So what should be the height? Let's calculate that. So we'll use Pythagorean theorem to find height. So height is equals to, let me write height square, then we'll square root it. X square minus x over 2 square. Correct? So this is equal to x square minus x square over 4, and then you can take 4 as common denominator. So you get 4x square minus x square, which is 3 over 4 x square. So that is height square. And so you can write down that the height is square root of this, right? Which is height equals to square root of 3 over 4. So, okay, let me write 3 over 4 and square root of x square. So we'll write x, which is square root of 3 over 2x. So that is the height. Now since we know height of this triangle, we can always write down area of the triangle also, correct? So let me write down now the relation for the area. So area is equals to height and base product, which is of the rectangle, x times y. This is for the rectangle, and for the triangle it is half base is x, times height, which we found as square root 3 over 2 times x. So this is the area. In this area, you have to substitute y as 28 minus 3x divided by 2. So then you get one equation, and we'll call that area in x, right? So area in x, one variable will be x times 28 minus 3x over 2. That's for the rectangle, and this is square root of 3. 2 times 2 is 4, x square. That's for the triangle. Now this is a quadratic equation for which you need to find the value of x which will maximize the area. So you need to maximize this area, right? You have to find x for maximum. To find maximum, you can do completing the squares, that's one thing. So I'll suggest write them in decimals and then do completing the squares and find the maximum x value for maximum area or the maximum area, right? So maximum area could be found by completing the squares. Now you do completing the squares. Then you have to determine the total cost of the glass required to maximize the area. So cost will be, cost for the maximum area, let's say for maximum area, will be equals to rate into the area, correct? So it will be, let us say area you get, whatever maximum area is, multiply that by 12.80 to get your cost in dollars. So that is how this question has to be solved. So do step by step, and I think that should help you to do this question of your assignment from the school. So we'll continue with this rest of the questions also. The idea is I'll just tell you how to write the equation, how to understand a word problem. That is my part in this, and then you write down your equations, solve them, and get the answer. Thank you, and all the best.